USS Gerald R. Ford is the lead ship of her class of United States Navy aircraft carriers. The ship is named after the 38th President of the United States, Gerald Ford, whose World War II naval service included combat duty aboard the light aircraft carrier Monterey in the Pacific Theater. USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, is the first in class of the Navy's newest generation of Ford-class aircraft carriers. It's been nearly 40 years since the Navy commissioned a new generation of aircraft carriers. With change comes the history that has to be made. Ford has done just that, with new technologies and advancements in multiple different systems compared to legacy-class carriers. Ford is ahead of its time, leaving history in the past and paving its own future. The keel of the Ford was laid on November 14, 2009. Laying the keel is the formal recognition of the start of a ship's construction. The ceremony was attended by Huntington Ingalls Industries Newport News Shipbuilders and members of the United States Navy. In earlier times, keel laying was when the first placement of the central timber took place, but as steel ships replaced wooden ones, the central timber gave way to a steel beam. Christening is a ceremonial ship launching where the vessel is transferred to the water.
United States ship Gerald R. Ford. May God bless this ship and all who sail her.
On November 9, 2013, the Ford was christened by Susan Ford Bales, the daughter of Gerald R. Ford. For the United States of America, I christen thee Gerald R. Ford, Ford Bales said, ending the ship's final moments ashore. USS Gerald R. Ford was commissioned on July 22, 2017, by President Donald J. Trump. The commissioning ceremony marks the entry of a ship into active naval service. This was the day Ford took her place in the fleet alongside the other ships. The first trap or fixed-wing aircraft landing was July 28, 2017, when an FA-18F Super Hornet assigned to Air Test and Evaluation Squadron, VX-23, piloted by Lieutenant Commander Jamie Coach Struck, performed an arrested landing aboard Ford. Ford entered an 18-month post-delivery test and trials period in late October 2019. The test and trials period is designed to stress critical combat systems and to exercise the flight deck, with the goal of ensuring the ship's overall deployment readiness. During this time Ford performed exceptionally well and conducted a series of 11 independent steaming events that were interlaced with shore-based maintenance windows of opportunity. Over the 18-month testing time, Ford exercised installed systems, conducted crew training, and completed the construction and activation of select shipboard systems. Over the course of 4 months in 2021, Ford withstood the impact of 3 40,000-pound underwater blasts, also known as full ship shock trials. Shock trials are a testing period that proves the validation of the ship's ability to sustain operations in a simulated combat environment using live ordnance. The tests demonstrated that the ship will be able to withstand formidable shocks and continue to operate under extreme conditions. Ford finished its flight deck certification and carrier air traffic control center certification on March 29, 2022. Ford's flight deck certification and carrier qualifications are part of the basic tailored training phase prior to the ship's first deployment. The Ford is currently doing workups, which are a series of underway periods conducting training, running drills, conducting flight operations, and completing certifications in preparation for its first deployment and the U.S. Navy's first Ford-class full deployment. The Ford and its crew has gained a huge amount of experience and training since it was built and are going to be thriving during the upcoming deployments.